Zubera Storm is back. We're going to draw cards using Floating-Dream Zubera, but today we're also going to draw cards using Mulldrifter. It's the perfect spice. Let's go check it out. This video is proudly sponsored by Card Market. This is my updated Zubera Storm deck list, and I'm so excited to showcase it today. If you didn't catch my last video, you could do so by clicking on the card above and watching it. In that video, I tried to showcase a sideboard Exhume plus Troll of Khazad-dûm sideboard juke that never really worked. We're not playing that today, but we're also not playing Shred Memory, which has been a staple in Zubera Storm for a very long time, along with a package of 2-mana value cards that support it. Basically, I felt like the deck was lacking consistency, and even though Shred Memory provides that consistency, it wasn't really what we wanted. So the YouTube community found an even better alternative, which I love, and that would be Mulldrifter. So the idea is that you can evoke this elemental for 2 and a blue, and then you'll draw 2 and then sacrifice it. Okay, well that works really well with our things like Not Dead After All and Feign Death, because then the Mulldrifter will come back onto the battlefield. Alternatively, you could even sacrifice it to the Viscera Seer and then scry 1 before you draw, or you can sacrifice it to Culling of the Weak to make 4 black. So Culling of the Weak gets better when you have additional things that you want to sacrifice, like Mulldrifter, and I think that's quite the level up today. So now you have 8 blue creatures that you want to sacrifice, that you want to use with Feign Death and Not Dead After All. I think that this was a really nice level up. The other thing that kept on happening in the comment section was people wanted red sideboard cards, which is something I experimented with before the last video, but I figured out how to make it work today. So we're playing a few copies of Sulfur Vent in the main deck, along with a few copies in the sideboard, and that will support Ingot Chewer, which also works with Not Dead After All and Feign Death. So now Zubera Storm has a package much like the modern decks with the Evoke Elementals. Well, this is the Pauper Evoke Elemental strategy. So you have Ingot Chewer, you have Mulldrifter, you have the Not Dead After All Feign Death plan, but you also get to play Pyroblast and Dispel against decks like Mono Blue Fairies, which, by the way, are both supported off of Sulfur Vent. So there's a lot of things that went into making this deck list work that I'm excited to showcase today. And if I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how to round out the sideboard, so a lot of you mentioned playing something like Snuff Out in the sideboard for the Brood Scale matchup. That doesn't work. So you could try cutting the Vault of Whispers for basic swamps, but then you only have 5, and there's no way to search for them, so I didn't love that. Plus, in your Deadly Dispute deck, I think that you want Vault of Whispers, so I didn't love Snuff Out. Meanwhile, you have Nile Spellbomb, which I think is a little bit better because, you know, the Dredge deck can be very fast, but if you draw it, you could still sacrifice it and draw a card and then try to win that way. So I think that would be better. The fact that it at least cycles and doesn't stop you from winning the game, I think is great. You could try Drown in Sorrow there for the red deck, but I think against red, you just want to resubmit the same 75. You might want to bring in like 1 Ingot Chewer. You could do that, but I don't know if you actually want to make any changes. I think you're supposed to race them. You're not supposed to try to make the game go longer, because I don't think that's a winning strategy. So I settled on Nile Spellbomb. But that is my short and sweet deck today. Hopefully you enjoyed the upgrades. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, and if you don't, tell me why. I'd love to hear from you. But that's all I've got for now. I want to hop on in and showcase Mulldrifter. I'll see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to the first match. We are on the play with Zubera Storm. We will keep this. Okay, so we need to find blue mana for our Mulldrifter or the Floating-Dream Zubera. That's interesting. So if you just hover over the cards now, they will enlarge like this. However, if you hold Q, it grays out the entire screen and goes to the top left corner. I know that they've been working on some new features for Magic Online, but that's interesting. We'll play a Peat Bog and pass the turn. Our opponent plays a bridge and passes. We'll draw. Another Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll play the other Peat Bog and pass. Okay, so this could be Brood Scale. Heart Clan Shaman, yep. Another Peat Bog. You're not helping me here. Alright, we will pass. They play Twisted Landscape. This does, in fact, look like Brood Scale combo. They swing for 1. Ouch. Blood Fountain, you've got it. We draw Dark Ritual. Things are not panning out the way that I was hoping. We have to hope that we're not dead. They use the Twisted Landscape to find basic Swamp. Cleansing Wildfire, sure. They grab a basic Forest and another Twisted Landscape. Refurbished Familiar. I believe we should discard a Floating-Dream Zubera here, because now if I draw an Unearth, we can try to win. They swing for 1. Ouch. Culling the Weak. I mean, if I ever draw something good, I mean, whew, what a world. So Refurbished Familiar is a little weird. If they are in fact Brood Scale combo, Refurbished Familiar typically isn't in there, so this could be like a Jund mid-range. They swing for 3, I'll go to 15. Writhing Chrysalis, okay. We'll try again. Vault of Whispers, so that gives me my first blue mana. So we'll tap here, we'll float a black. We'll play Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the Vault of Whispers. And now we'll get a treasure. So I can Mulldrifter plus Not Dead After All here. We'll tap the Peat Bog, and we'll play Mulldrifter. We'll evoke it. So first we'll draw 2. Okay. So I believe we should Not Dead After All here. They might have a removal spell. Okay, so they're going to make a mana using the Eldrazi spawn token. And they're going to Insight in response. I mean, they could also use the Clan Shaman. I don't know if that's something they want to do, though. Apparently not. So the Mulldrifter will now come back and we'll draw 2. We hit another Lotus Petal. So I could draw 1 card off of Floating-Dream Zubera, but that's it. Our draw this game has been a little anemic. So next turn they attack for 7, putting me to 8. I'm dead to double Galvanic Blast. Really would have liked to have drawn some better cards. And I don't know if there's 1 card that saves me here is the other thing. We'll play Floating-Dream Zubera. Okay. It resolves. So I guess my best thing I could do here is Culling the Weak into a Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the Mulldrifter. We'll try it. Sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. Draw a card. We drew another Floating-Dream Zubera. Alright, so that was mostly a wash. We will pass the turn. They play a Limbas. I don't think that they're actually Brute Scale combo. I think that this is just Jund mid-range. Another Cleansing Wildfire. And our opponent swung out, putting me to 8. So I have now disabled the card hover because I was lagging a lot and I just started Magic Online. I'd like to see if that impacts it whatsoever. We've drawn Unearth. So I can get back my Floating-Dream Zubera and then sacrifice it. I mean, it's either that or be dead here. So I guess we will get back the Floating-Dream Zubera. And then we will Culling the Weak to sacrifice it and draw 1 card. Ball Ritual. I needed to draw Deadly Dispute. It's like one of the few cards that would save me here. We'll play our Surprise and Scary, pass the turn. I have to hope that they allow me to block, because our opponent hasn't played a single removal spell yet, and I'm just dead on board if they play anything here. There they go. Alright, so we can go to game number 2. Our deck did not function. We saw 33% of our deck that game, and it did just not work. We drew the... Whoa, why is that so gigantic? Why are you huge? Let's make this readable size. Okay, so I've scaled everything down. In theory, because this is a matchup that goes a little longer, I could bring in the Sulfur Vents and get rid of Lotus Petals. I'm not sure if that's actually something I want to do. I think that we should just resubmit and try to draw better, because that was ultimately the thing that didn't go well in game 1. So we're on the play for game 2. That is terrible. Send it back. I mean, this is technically a keepable hand. Get rid of a Dark Ritual. We'll play a Viscera Seer. They play Bridge. We draw another Lotus Petal. A little awkward. Go to combat, swing for 1. We'll pass. So something weird about having the 1 swamp is now if they play a Cleansing Wildfire, I do not have another basic. They play Nile Spellbomb, Twisted Landscape. So I could have brought in Ingot Chewer, but our main deck is actually set up so you should be able to beat a Nile Spellbomb. We have 2 Emberfist Zuberas in there, and with the Mulldrifters, you're more likely to be able to win through it. Another Deadly Dispute will attack for 1. They play a Bridge. Another Viscera Seer, okay. I am the beatdown. I could play out the second copy, but I don't want to get blown up by like a Kark Clan Shaman, so I'm just not going to. Land number 4. Vault of Whispers. Swing. We'll play Lotus Petal. Play the second copy. Because now I could Deadly Dispute, and I feel like that makes it a little bit better of a play. Is this Weather the Storm for 9? No, they're cycling a Twisted Landscape. Okay. And they are just content playing Draw Go. We'll swing. They're now at 14. I could Dark Ritual out a Mulldrifter, but I would potentially run into a Red Elemental Blast or Pyroblast, and I don't think that exchange is worthwhile. They Deadly Dispute away the Nile Spellbomb. Okay. So they either have another in hand, or they believe that they don't need it. Galvanic Blast me. Sure. End step, I will Deadly Dispute away Lotus Petal. We'll play the Sulfur Vent. Let's swing for 2. They're now at 12. I have to imagine their hand is like a lot of like Weather the Storm type cards. And maybe creature removal. They play an Insight, so they're drawing up to 9 cards, yeah. Duress. I guess I should probably Deadly Dispute here. Sacrifice the treasure token. Alright, Duress resolves. They take Cabal Ritual. Cleansing Wildfire on my Vent. I do not have another basic, so they read that correctly. They're tapping 3 mana here, 4 mana, for a Nyxborn Hydra. Sure. So they're giving me a potential window to try to win here. I will sacrifice one of the Viscera Seers to itself, just to potentially get a better draw. I don't think mana's are bottleneck, so I'm going to put the Cabal Ritual on the bottom. You're drawn to Peat Bog. Not a great draw in my opinion. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. We'll play Lotus Petal. And now we will evoke Mulldrifter. We want the sacrifice to happen last because I would like to give myself the chance here to draw into one of the Undying effects, and I did. So now we will feign death. And then we will sacrifice the Mulldrifter. So then it returns. And now we'll draw 2 cards. We hit a Floating-Dream Zubera, but that's great. We'll scry 1. Then untap land. I don't hate keeping an untap land. There's only 5 in the deck, so they are precious. We'll play Floating-Dream Zubera. And then Not Dead After All on the Floating-Dream Zubera. Sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. You want to put the draw trigger on the bottom, so that way it returns first. And then you can sacrifice it again. So this is going to mean that we can draw 4 cards, one of which is an untap land. So we'll draw 2, and then we'll scry. We definitely want Unearth, keep that on top. And now we'll draw 2 more. Deadly Dispute is not bad, and now we'll scry again. 14 minutes on the clock. How many Zubera have died this turn? 2, so that's not enough to win yet. We'll play our untap land. Play the Lotus Petal. And now we will unearth on the Floating-Dream Zubera. When we sacrifice this, we'll draw 3. Part of me wonders if this is a spot where I should sacrifice the Mulldrifter. So that way I can look at my top card first. Like, is the 3/3 in play more valuable at this point? I don't know. So let's sacrifice the Mulldrifter. We probably don't need another Deadly Dispute right now. And then we'll sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. Okay. Cabal Ritual. We'll get rid of the Peat Bog. We'll Culling the Weak. Sacrifice the Viscera Seer. Cabal Ritual. Play another Seer. And now we'll evoke a Mulldrifter. Once again, that sacrifice trigger is always last. We'll draw 2. We will feign death. And then Culling the Weak. So now it returns. We'll draw 2. And we'll make 4 black. And now that trigger can finally resolve. We have 6 mana floating. Let's Deadly Dispute. Sacrifice the Mulldrifter. They're at 11. We've had 3 Zubera die. So let's bring back the Floating-Dream Zubera. Not Dead After All. And then Culling the Weak, sacrificing the Floating-Dream Zubera. It will return. And then we'll sacrifice it. They'll lose 1. So now they go to 10. And now we'll draw a bunch of cards. Scry. Down to 11 minutes on clock. I do need to pick this up a little bit. Magic Online is lagging a hair, but it's not terrible. Make 4 black. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. And now we can play the Ember Fist Zubera. Play Feign Death on it. Sacrifice it. We'll put the return trigger on the stack first. So now it returns. And now we'll sacrifice it again. So we have won game number 2. I guess we have to scry once before we actually win. Alright, so that leaves 10 minutes for game number 3. That should be enough. Do I want to bring in Ingot Chewer? I don't know. So something we could do is bring in the Chewers, bring in Sulfur Vent, and then just board out Lotus Petal and accept that it's going to be a little bit of a longer game. Maybe board out like 1 Culling the Weak. Let's try this. I like that Ingot Chewer also helps me beat Weather the Storm by just going beatdown, just having a 4/4. Yeah, we keep these. They play Basic Swamp and Duress. Let's see what they take. They take a Not Dead After All. We'll play the Surprise and Scary and pass. Blood Fountain, sure. And a Bridge. We'll play the Sulfur Vent, pass the turn. They play Twisted Landscape, 4 cards in their hand. Nile Spellbomb, Refurbished Familiar. I think it's Cabal Ritual. Culling the Weak. Let's just play Floating-Dream Zubera. Pass the turn. So I could have played the Floating-Dream Zubera last turn. I chose not to because I wanted the ability to hold open Not Dead After All or Feign Death. And now they attack for 2. Ouch. Vault of Whispers. Swing. They have 2 cards open. Deadly Dispute on the Blood Token. That's interesting. I probably would have gotten rid of the Blood Fountain. I don't think Blood Fountain is going to be like a useful card this game. Meanwhile, the Blood Choking can filter bad draws. We'll take 2. Duress. So, yeah, I mean, it's either another Undying effect or a Ritual. They're back down to 2 cards in hand. Another Undying effect, okay. Swing. I think I'll pass. The attack will put me down to 14. We draw Surprise and Scary. That's not a bad one. We'll attack again. And they're just making their land drop. Still 2 cards in hand. This will put me to 12. We finally draw a Viscera Seer. Let's go to combat. Swing. They thought about that one for a little bit longer. Let's try Dark Ritual. And I think I'm going to just try to hardcast Mulldrifter. Hopefully one of the cards in their hand is not Pyroblast. It resolves, that's a good sign. We'll play Sulfur Vent. Pass the turn. Cleansing Wildfire, sure. That's fine with me. Did not want to draw Swamp anyway. Lembiz, sure. I think I'm going to block here. And then before damage, Feign Death. They play Cast Down. Okay. We've already blocked, so we're not going to take any damage. Ingot Chewer. Okay. I guess we should go to combat. Swing. So I can try to hardcast the Chewer, or I can evoke, getting rid of the Spellbomb and see if they crack it. And then that gives me 4 draws to try to win. We will try to destroy the Nile Spellbomb. Do you pay the black? If they don't, that means that they probably have Weather the Storm in their hand. And they do pay the black. So they will exile my graveyard. And now the Chewer will go away. Maybe I was supposed to play the Seer first. So I just lost out on a scry there. We'll play the Seer. Let's try Feign Death. Sacrifice it. 5 minutes on the clock here. Okay. So now it returns. We'll sacrifice again. That was very good. Scry. Want that on top. Now we'll draw. Oh my. I think we might have just won. Let's play Unearth. So we know that there's a Dark Ritual on top. I'm not going to use the Feign Death right now because I don't want to bottleneck myself on mana. And we have another Unearth here. All right. Dark Ritual. Unearth getting back the Floating-Dream Zubera. We will Feign Death. And then let's use some blue mana. Let's Deadly Dispute. All right, so it will return, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sacrifice it. Deadly Dispute again. Actually, hold on. 4 minutes is plenty. I want to use some blue mana here. Sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. So we'll draw. Beautiful. Draw 2. And now we'll draw off the Floating-Dream Zubera. Deadly Dispute. 5 Zubera have died. We'll play another Cabal Ritual. Make a red. Make a red. Ember Fist Zubera. Ember Fist Zubera. Not dead after all. And now we'll sacrifice. So we'll target them. And we win the match! How about that? The deck felt good. Yeah, the games we went long, but we were planning for that with our sideboard plan, so that was sweet. All right, 1-0 with Zubera Storm. Let's go get the next 4. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, we've won the die roll, we're on the play, let's go. So 1 land. So the the Ember Fist Zubera is basically a mulligan. As a 6, I would probably keep this, but I think as a 7, you're supposed to send it. And we are punished. We will go to 5. This is probably better than our 7. And I think that this hand, if it was a 6, it would be incredible. But I think that this is a good hand of what shows an example of Mulldrifter is actually better than Floating-Dream Zubera. So we're going to keep the Mulldrifter instead and just hope that our opponent's on a slow deck where we have some time to recover. Play out the Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. One nice thing about Zubera Storm is you're not actually a Storm deck. Like, we do not care about the Storm mechanics, so we're able to play out the Lotus Petal here. They play a bridge. This might be Affinity. What a perfect draw. Love it. So next turn, if we want to, we can Mulldrifter plus Feign Death and then have a 3/3 flyer. They have a bridge. Our Clan Shaman. Yep. Peat Bog. We will evoke the Mulldrifter. Once again, you always draw first. And now we will Feign Death. So it will return to the battlefield as a 3/3 and I'll draw 2 more cards. We'll play Peat Bog. I could play Vault of Whispers, but I don't want to. Basically, if they kill the Mulldrifter, they kill the Mulldrifter, is my opinion. We are set up to potentially try to win, which I think is just better. They play Ichor Wellspring, sure. Nile Spellbomb, that's a pain in the butt. Okay. So they mulligan to 5 looking for one of their main deck Nile Spellbombs, which is part of the reason I chose to play 2 Ember Fist Zubera today. We'll play these Surprise and Scary, and attack for 3 in the air. Swing. Pass the turn. They play Artificer. So now they can turn their indestructible lane into a 3/3. And now they're attacking. So I'll take 4 down to 15. We're definitely in a tight spot here. Another Mulldrifter. That's good. We'll swing. Play Vault of Whispers. We'll tap this Surprise and Scary because I don't want the land to go away. And actually, let's tap the Peat Bog. We will evoke Mulldrifter. Draw 2. And now we will not dead after all. So now we sacrifice it. And this is a spot where they could use the Nile Spellbomb. They don't, so we will draw 2. We're in a decent spot here. We'll play the Viscera Seer. Pass the turn. So it's worth noting that the Clan Shaman does read without flying. It cannot kill Mulldrifters. Blood Fountain, you've got it. They're going to swing out. So this would be 5, putting me to 10. I'll just take it. The Lotus Petal. Okay, let's start by attacking for 7. Okay, so can we win this turn? Lotus Petal. Let's try Floating-Dream Zubera. In response, they use the Now Spell Bomb. I don't think that's the right time to do that, but that's just me. Yeah, you live your best life. Okay. Let's attempt a Not Dead After All on the Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll sacrifice it. And now the trigger will happen. So it will return. We'll sacrifice it and draw 4. They'll lose 1 down to 6. So we'll draw 4 cards, but we get to scry a couple times in the middle. Scry 1. We'll keep that. Okay, now we scry 1. Get rid of the scary. Let's Culling the Weak. Sacrifice the Mulldrifter with the Wicked token, so they'll go to 5. And I will play an Ember Fist Zubera. We will Deadly Dispute, sacrificing it, so they'll take 2. That will put them to 3, and then we'll make another red mana. I guess it's technically a treasure token. And then we'll use that treasure token immediately for an Ember Fist Zubera. They could have used the Kirk Clan Shaman here to kill the Seer, which would have kept them... They don't know this, but they would have still died. But in theory, it could have kept them alive. But instead, they're dead. And we win the game. Nice main deck Nile Spellbomb. Okay, so post-board versus Affinity. We likely want the Ingot Chewers. We want the Sulfur Vents. I do think you're probably supposed to board out Lotus Petal. And then maybe one Culling the Weak. Let's try this. What a hand. We will keep all day. Turn 1 Bridge. We'll play Surprise and Scary, pass the turn. Candy Trail. So they get to scry 2 here. And then at some point they can pay 2 mana, sacrifice the Candy Trail, gain 3 life, and draw a card. They put 2 cards on the top. Unearth. Alright, I guess I'm going to play Floating-Dream Zubera. We could be looking at a potential turn 3 win here, depending on what our opponent does. Vault of Whispers. They play Blood Fountain, create a blood token. Come on, just play like a Ichor Wellspring. What could go wrong? They leave open a red-black's land. They have 3 cards left. We'll play Peat Bog. I feel like it's a little hasty to try to win here. We'll play out a Seer. Like, I could have attempted a win. It's just, I think it's a little bit of a trap. Like, we're just a little constrained on mana. Like, if this Sulfur Vent was like another Dark Ritual or something else, maybe I would have tried. Alright, so they had Galvanic Blast. That would have been a pain in the butt. We'll sacrifice the Viscera Seer to itself, and we'll scry 1. Keep Dark Ritual on top. They play a land, 2 cards left. We'll take 4. Swing better, swing. Tap the Peat Bog. Let's play the Seer again. Let's try Feign Death on the Floating-Dream Zubera. Another Galvanic Blast. A Red Elemental Blast. So we will sacrifice it in response. I'll draw 1 card. Mulldrifter, that's a good one. Don't think we want the Vault of Whispers. And now Feign Death. We'll Dark Ritual. Tap the Surprise and Scary. And we will evoke Mulldrifter. 2 mana here. They Deadly Dispute. So that was their last card in hand. So if they find anything here, it's pure chance. We'll draw 2. Let's try Dark Ritual. And I'll Deadly Dispute. Actually, hold on. Maybe I'll just use the Seer here. Think Culling the Weak is fine. We will Unearth back Floating-Dream Zubera. And then I will Deadly Dispute. Not dead after all, and a Culling the Weak. Oh my. Okay. So mana's the bottleneck right now. I'm not sure what the right line is. So I could play Floating-Dream Zubera from hand, and then not dead after all. But that would leave me with no mana floating, trying to draw into an untapped land. I boarded out Lotus Petals, so that's not a great line. I could not dead after all on the Seer and then Culling the Weak, but then I only have 1 blue for these 2 blue cards in my hand. I think I'm going to do the not dead after all line on the Viscera Seer. And now we'll Culling the Weak, so it will return. I think that this play gives me the most looks at winning the game, which is why I'm doing it. Alright, so Feign Death. We will sacrifice. So now it returns. And we'll sacrifice the Zubera again. Could have been better. We'll scry 1. Think we want Culling the Weak. And now we'll draw 4 more. Alright, now we'll scry again. Think we want Cabal Ritual. We'll play the other Seer. Culling the Weak on that. We'll play Unearth, getting back Floating-Dream Zubera. Not dead after all. Sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera. I guess at some point with this list, when you board out Lotus Petal, you have to Deadly Dispute for red. So I can't draw my whole deck and then Ember Fist Zubera. I have to have a couple cards left. Scry 1. Keep that on top. And we did draw a Deadly Dispute. We'll play Cabal Ritual. And I think I was too busy talking there because I probably was supposed to sacrifice the Floating-Dream Zubera again, but I was too busy running my mouth. So they'll lose 1. We'll draw a bunch of cards. And then I'll get to draw 2 more and make a treasure. Play another copy of Cabal Ritual, Dark Ritual. Let's check the number on this. 6. So that should be enough to win here. So we'll make a red. We'll play the Ember Fist Zubera. Not dead after all. And now we'll sacrifice it. Target them. We'll return. We'll sacrifice it again in response. Target them. Plus the roll. I think that could end up being lethal here. 17. Okay. Yeah, I want Unearth. Are you crazy? 1 short. Bummer. Keep the Unearth on top. And now we will Unearth on the Ember Fist Zubera. Easy peasy. Target you. Zubera Storm looking good. Alright, 3 matches left to go. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. We are on the draw for the 3rd match. I would love to keep this hand. It doesn't have a black mana source, but it has everything else we could possibly want. So let's try it. Great Furnace into Clockwork Percussionist. So they are on mono red. This is a hand where, you know, it's good against mono red, assuming that you draw the cards you need, which would be black lands. Dark Ritual, a fine draw, but we still have to draw into a black land. They play a mountain, another percussionist, and another. Okay, they have 3 cards remaining. We'll take a draw. Peat Bog. We'll play the Bog. And I think I'm going to play a Floating-Dream Zubera, because if they kill it, I can just bring it back with the Unearth. And then they don't have something that disrupts me on my turn, is the idea. Goblin Bushwhacker. I'm not blocking. Fun fact. I'll take 8. Alright, so no blocks. I'll go to 8 life. Oh, they have a land. Okay, so they could try to disrupt me here. Dark Ritual. We'll play the Seer. Let's try a Feign Death on the Floating-Dream Zubera. That resolves. Let's Culling the Weak on the Floating-Dream Zubera. So it now returns. And I'm going to try a Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the Floating-Dream Zubera. Okay, so now we draw off the Dispute. We get a treasure. We draw 2 more. Now Culling the Weak. We're in a wonderful spot here. We'll Cabal Ritual again. Unearth, getting back the Floating-Dream Zubera. I'll play the Seer. We'll Deadly Dispute, sacrifice the Vault of Whispers, I think. And I hit the Feign Death that I was looking for the Floating-Dream Zubera. And now we'll sacrifice. So now it returns. We'll sacrifice again. Turn 3 win, baby. Draw 4. Beautiful. Keep the Deadly Dispute. We're here to party. Scry. Look at all those not dead after alls. Love it. Let's Culling the Weak, sacrificing one of the 2 Viscera Seers. Play out a Lotus Petal. We will Unearth, getting back the Floating-Dream Zubera. Not dead after all. We'll sacrifice it. It will now return. We'll not dead after all again. We'll sacrifice. Put the draw on the bottom. It will now return. And we will not dead after all. And I have to move up the stack because it's just too big. Okay, so we'll sacrifice again. This is going to draw like my entire deck. And now we'll sacrifice again. Okay. Whee! Look at that stack. That's just a thing of beauty. That drew 8. So we're not going to deck, thankfully, but we'll come pretty close. We'll keep Unearth, keep Lotus Petal. Yeah, we're going to have 2 cards left. And Unearth is one of them. Dark Ritual. How funny would it have been if I had a turn 3 win, and then just me being too excited to draw cards to accidentally deck myself? That would be perfect. We'll play Lotus Petal, Cabal Ritual. We'll play an Ember Fist Zubera. Not dead after all. Sacrifice it. Target you. It will now return. We'll sacrifice it again, and this will finish off the opponent. Nice little 4.5 minute win. Keep the Unearth on top. Beautiful. Let's do that again. So, you could bring in Ingot Chewer. In my last video, I lost to Mono Red that had Relic of Progenitus in the post-board game. The problem with that is you have to have the Chewer, you have to have a win, you have to have one of your sulfur vents. Like, there's a lot of what-ifs. And what are you boarding out for the other sulfur vents? So, like, you could take out Surprise and Scaries and be like, it's my blue source, but it's also my red source. I could buy that. All right, so we've settled that. What are you then cutting for the Ingot Chewers? Like 1 Mulldrifter and 2 Culling the Weak? Is that worth it? I don't know. You know what? I'll bring in a Miser's Ingot Chewer, and we'll board out 1 Mulldrifter. We'll hit submit. My opponent is laughing in chat. They're having a good time. All right, so we'll keep. I don't have Mulldrifter or the Floating-Dream Zubera, but this hand has potential. Goblin Tomb Raider, sure. We draw a Lotus Petal, I'll play Sulfur Vent, pass. They play Relic of Progenitus, that's unfortunate. But we can beat that, it is possible. We draw another Lotus Petal, we'll play the Seer, pass the turn. Another Goblin Tomb Raider. If I draw a Floating-Dream Zubera, we're going to go for it. Assuming that they're still tapped out. We'll take 4. Vault of Whispers, play another Viscera Seer. And I guess I'll attack for 1. I am the beatdown. They drew a land, but it's a tap land. And I doubt that they tap out now. They're already so far ahead, they shouldn't tap out again. We'll take 4 down to 10 life. Yeah, and they don't tap out. I had a couple windows there to draw into it, but I missed. We will pass. I will block. And then before damage, let's sacrifice it. Scry 1. They tap the relic, sure. We don't need another undying effect. So I'll take 2 down to 8. And they pass the turn. Deadly Dispute. Okay, so we will Deadly Dispute on Vault of Whispers. And I did not draw into it. We'll play out Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. They Galvanic Blast on my Viscera Seer. I will Feign Death. I think we need this. And then we'll sacrifice it to Scry. So they could try to... They pop the Relic. Interesting. Okay. So Mulldrifter just became my best find. We'll put this on the bottom. Mulldrifter, I choose you. Be my favorite Pokemon. Come on. So I'm at 8. Their creatures are now 1/2s. Bushwhacker kicked. So this is 6 damage. So anything else kills me. They swing for 6. They have 5 cards. I imagine that one of their 5 cards deals 2 damage. And we drew another blank. So I guess I'm technically allowed to cycle Unearth here. We never drew anything. We saw 25% of our deck that game. Brutal. Okay, so that was rough. I mean, am I supposed to bring in more Chewers? So I want Chewers, I'd want Sulfur Vent. And now I'm at 62. I guess we could board out like 2 Culling the Weak, but if I end up fizzling, I'm going to be a little disappointed in myself. But I guess we try it. On the play. Yeah, we keep these. We'll play Peat Bog, pass the turn. Basic Mountain, Goblin Tomb Raider. We'll play Sulfur Vent. Play out the Lotus Petal. I think I'm likely going to Deadly Dispute the Lotus Petal. Synthesizer. They find a mountain. Good for them. I mean, not good for me, but that's what they wanted to find there. I'll take 2. I go to 18. End step, we will Deadly Dispute, sacrifice the Lotus Petal. We draw into Feign Death, and a not dead after all. So I am begging for a Mulldrifter here. They have land number 3. Reckless Lackey. Am I supposed to cycle the Unearth and lose a land? I feel like it's a little premature for that. They have 4 cards. I'm at 15. Dark Ritual's the draw. Things are not looking good again. I guess the one thing I have solace in is that Mana is not my choke point this game, so even if I draw Ingot Chewer, it's better than drawing a Culling the Weak. Synthesizer. They hit another Tomb Raider. Wow. Okay. So they have 6 damage coming in. I need to draw something or else I'm dead. I'm sorry, 5 damage coming in. I'll go to 10. End step will cycle the Unearth. Mulldrifter, so we have to hope that they don't have Red Elemental Blast. Okay. Here we go. Dark Ritual. We will Sulfur Vent and Evoke. I'm going to use the red here. And now I will Feign Death. Oh, I should have waited for the draw too, I suppose. So we'll draw into 2 lands. Not so great. And now the Mulldrifter will come back. We'll draw 2. Unearth. Okay. What to do, what to do. Sacrifice the Sulfur Vent. We'll play Dark Ritual. Floating-Dream Zubera. And they did have Pyroblast. That's annoying. We can now play Unearth, getting back the Floating-Dream Zubera. What to do? So if I'm Culling the Weak away the Zubera, it's only a draw 1. We needed not to draw 3 lands. So if I not that after all, and then Culling the Weak the Zubera, I would want to draw into another sacrifice card, and we boarded them out. We boarded out 2 Culling the Weak. I think passing is a coward's move, so I'm just going to take the line that wins. Alternatively, I could do it on Mulldrifter, which gives me 2 draws, which might be better. Yeah, let's do Mulldrifter. And this way I still have a blocker. Draw 2 into another Mulldrifter that I can hardcast. Or is it better to hardcast? Or am I supposed to keep trying to win? Maybe I'm supposed to just evoke here. We'll evoke. Please, deck. Does that do anything? So I can sacrifice the Floating Dream and draw. Would have loved a Deadly Dispute. We'll sacrifice... I guess I could sacrifice the Mulldrifter here, giving myself 1 extra scry. We're going big. We're not going to take the coward's move. We're just going to try to win. Scry 1. That is good. We'll keep that. Sacrifice the Floating Dream Zubera. We'll draw 1. Scry 1. I think we want Lotus Petal. Tap the land. Deadly Dispute. Use the red. Get rid of Vault of Whispers. Okay. It's looking possible. Floating Dream Zubera. Feign Death. Please, deck. Come on. Let's go. Sacrifice. And now it returns. Sacrifice. Draw. That was okay. Ingot Chewer can go on the bottom. We need like a Dark Ritual here. Draw 3. Into not the best. Scry. Keep the Feign Death. So I have 1 Lotus Petal left in the deck. We will bring back Floating Dream Zubera. Okay, we need some better draws here. Sacrifice. Draw. Nope. So many lands. I think we just lost. That can go on the bottom. Unbelievable. I have to pass the turn. So if this was a Culling the Weak, things might have been different. I don't know. We have to pass the turn. Okay, we're at 10. They have 4 cards in hand, 5 power on board. I would imagine that I'm dead. Bushwhacker, yep. Go to blocks. Before damage, we will sacrifice the Viscera Seer and Scry. Dark Ritual doesn't actually help me. That needs to go on the bottom. So I will take 7. No, that's not right. 5, okay. And Lightning Bolt. Bummer. We had the opportunity to beat Mono Red. It just didn't work. So we're now 2-1, unfortunately. But hey, that was still a pretty good match. Our deck put up a fight. Unfortunately, we just drew a few too many lands, and sometimes that happens. But we're still match number 4. Let's go win that. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4, looking to bounce back after that loss. We're on the play. Keep. We'll play the Surprise and Scary, pass the turn. They play a Swamp, interesting. I would have guessed the name Hot Dogs was on the Mono Red Film Keep. Wow, I can't talk. Fiend Kiln? Kiln Fiend? That's the name of it. Kiln Fiend deck. We'll play Peatbog, pass. You know, I actually played a lot of Kiln Fiend when it was in Standard, so it's embarrassing the fact that I can't remember the card name. Seeker Squire. When it enters, it explores. Okay. We'll play Vault of Whispers. And let's just pay 5 mana for a Mulldrifter. That's what I'm here for. Pass the turn. They play Tithing Blade, which will cleanly answer my Mulldrifter. Unfortunate. And then Bojuka Bog to exile it. Okay. They swing. Ouch. Not very kind. We'll play the Surprise and Scary. Play one of our 2 Seers and pass the turn. They swing. We'll take it, going down to 16. Crypt Rats. Sure. They play a Swamp. We'll untap. Not that after all being the draw. Okay. We'll tap the Scary. Let's try a Floating-Dream Zubera. That resolves. Let's attempt a not that after all. They Crypt Rats for 1. I will sacrifice the Viscera Seer to itself. Keep the Unearth. And now the not that after all. We'll play the Seer. And then we'll play the other Floating-Dream Zubera. Because now when I sacrifice these, I can basically get an extra couple draws out of these. So now we'll sacrifice this one. And it will return. Sacrifice it again. So now we'll draw 9 cards. They'll lose a life. Draw 3. Cabal Ritual. I don't think I mind a Mulldrifter. We'll keep that. Scry 1. Dark Ritual's wonderful. Now we'll draw again. Scry 1. Sure, we'll keep a Cabal Ritual. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Play out a Lotus Petal. Can I win here? Ember Fist. Yeah, I believe we can win. We'll play Ember Fist Zubera. Not that after all. Deadly Dispute. Target you. It will return. We'll sacrifice it again. The roll will make them lose another life. So now they'll take some damage. We'll scry. Keep the Cabal Ritual. We'll take some more damage. We'll make another treasure. Red. We'll play this Zubera. We'll unearth the other one. And we'll Cabal Ritual again because I can. Alright, they conceded. Mono black. I mean, I could try Ingot Chewers, but I think I'd rather just submit the same 75. On the draw for game number 2, we have a hand where if I draw black mana plus one of our blue creatures, we're going to pop off. So I think I'm going to keep. I could even cycle this Unearth to try to dig a little bit deeper. And the turn 1 Bojuka Bog. Sure. Lotus Petal. There's my black mana. If we get a turn 2 Floating-Dream Zubera, I would consider trying for a turn 2 win. Another Explorer creature. Choking Sands. Don't destroy my land. I only have the 1. Not that after all. We'll play the Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. Sure, you've got it. I believe I'm supposed to cycle the Unearth here. Just trying to dig for something that helps us advance our game plan. I obviously want to keep the Unearth. It's just, I don't believe you're supposed to. This is interesting. So I could go Dark Ritual, Viscera Seer, Feign Death, and then like try to Deadly Dispute. So very all in play. Or we like awkwardly discard to hand size. I'm not sure what the right move is. I think I'm going to go for it. Dark Ritual. We'll play the Seer. Let's not that after all. Tap the Scary. I just want to think this through for a moment. So if I Deadly Dispute here, I'll have 1 blue floating, but then I could Cabal Ritual, but I wouldn't have blue mana. So the alternative line is I could Culling the Weak now, not that after all, and then Deadly Dispute. I think you're supposed to do the Culling the Weak line. So it will return. Well, not that after all again. Actually, let's Feign Death, why not? Okay, so now we'll Deadly Dispute. We need like the best draw 2 of all time. They'll lose 1, we'll draw 2. That was not good enough. Okay. Pass the turn. They'll swing for 2, I'll go to 16. Lotus Petal, we will pass. Cast down. I think I need this though. Not that after all. We'll poke them for 1. And now the Viscera Seer will come back. They swing for 2, we'll go to 13. Nile Spellbomb. We're probably lost now. Alright, I am willing to go to the next game. And we now know that they have Spell Bomb, so I'm going to board in Ingot Chewers for game 3. Okay, Sulfur Vents. I think that this might be a matchup where we just make our land drops. Plus we saw land destruction, so having more lands is good. We'll take out one Culling the Weak. Try this out. Game 3 on the play. Sure. This seems like a hand that gets to do things. We'll play Peat Bog and pass. Duress? Sure. I think the pick here is probably Dark Ritual. Let's see what they select. And they agree. We'll play Sulfur Vent, pass the turn. Divest. So now they could take my Mulldrifter. Wow, that's so good. Devastating. Bazooka Bog, yep. That was just a backbreaking play. We draw the Seer. Oh, wow. I guess that means that if I draw into a Floating-Dream Zubera, it's good. Where before I was only wanting Mulldrifter. Chittering Rats. Do I have to put a card on top? We'll just put the Seer back on top, I suppose. We will pass. Another Divest. So they get to discard my Viscera Seer. They play Witch's Cottage. And attack for 2. We have to pass. Bazooka Bog. So now this Unearth isn't that great. They still have 3 cards in their hand. I mean, we're still in this. Don't get me wrong. Like, Mulldrifter brings me right back in it. Crypt Rats is tough. We'll play Peat Bog. Pass. This time Divest has no targets. They swing for 3. I'll go to 13. We draw into another Unearth. So I think I am likely going to cycle at least one of these on their end step. Land number 6. So now they can attack for 3, and they could have used the Crypt Rats for 6. They didn't. So they attack for 3. I go to 10. They have lethal on board next turn. That's tough. So we'll take 3 down to 10. They sign in blood, and they drew Duress. Yeah, I mean, they've been running hot this game. They make the correct decision of taking an Unearth. We will cycle Unearth and another. Cycle that. All right, Deadly Dispute. I'll take Mulldrifter. Okay, so we could probably play the Vault of Whispers. There's no downside there. Let's evoke Mulldrifter. I think I'll use the red mana. And we'll draw 2. We'll attempt to play Dark Ritual. And then Feign Death. So now the Mulldrifter will come back. We'll draw 2 more. Not dead after all. And let's Deadly Dispute. So we'll draw 2, and then we'll draw 2 off the Deadly Dispute. Dark Ritual. We'll play a Seer. Not dead after all on the Mulldrifter. Culling the Weak. So it will return, and we'll draw 2. Gives me another chance, I suppose. They'll lose 1. Feign Death on the Mulldrifter. We're running on fumes here. So the Mulldrifter will return. We'll draw 2. And another Mulldrifter. They lose 1. And we'll scry 1. I don't need an Ember Fist Zubera. Okay, so we can Cabal Ritual. Play the Seer. And I think you're supposed to sacrifice one of the Seers here to try to find something that's good. We want Deadly Dispute. Keep that. Sacrifice the Sulfur Vent. We will evoke Mulldrifter. Draw 2. We finally find a Floating-Dream Zubera. I'm going to respond to this ability. I'm going to Deadly Dispute. Sacrifice Vault of Whispers. So I can sacrifice the Drifters to scry, so I don't think I want to sacrifice them to the Deadly Dispute. And now I could sacrifice the Drifter to scry. Don't want Peat Bog. Okay. So I've seen half my deck at this point. And I've played 0 Floating-Dream Zuberas. So this first one is only going to draw a single card. And I've used all but 1 Unearth. And I've used a bunch of the Undying effects. So I'm actually a little concerned with my ability to win here. I suppose I'll sacrifice the Mulldrifter just to increase my odds. Dark Ritual. Is that a good one? I don't even know. I really don't. I think we're supposed to keep it. So I'll sacrifice Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll draw 1. And now we'll scry. Not dead after all. So I can go Dark Ritual into Mulldrifter. That's probably the line because I can't Floating-Dream Zubera right now. So Dark Ritual. And we'll Mulldrifter. I think I have to use the red. I just don't have enough resources right now. So we'll draw 2. Not that after all. Sacrifice the Mulldrifter. It now returns. And I could sacrifice it again before I draw. And I think that's probably the move. So they'll lose 1, we'll scry 1. Don't need Ingot Chewer. Draw 2 into 2 lands. Oh! It's twice this league that we've sort of gotten flooded on lands. The Cabal Ritual just like doesn't actually help me here. But I believe we've lost, so it doesn't matter. We've already played our land. We're dead on board. Or at least we should be. So I did add 1 land since my last video. They have Defile, whatever. So they can swing and then Crypt Rats me out. So I went up 1 land because looking at my last video, which I watched before building today's deck list, I flooded out a lot. Or no, I'm sorry. I was mana screwed or mana short a lot and I wasn't hitting my land drops. So I went up 1 land, especially when I'm adding in a 3rd color. And I don't know if that was right or wrong. But I have flooded out a few times so far. I went from 13 up to 14. That said, in these post-board games where I'm bringing in Ingot Chewer, I am bringing in more sulfur vents. But we only saw 2 vents, and one of them was early, which was good. And it looks like this other one I also had early. So it's not like those were terrible draws, but we didn't get there. So that's unfortunate. I don't know if 14 is too many. 13 in my last video felt like it was short. So it could just be bad variance. It could be fine. I'm not sure without a larger sample. But what I do know is we're going to try to win match number 5, and hopefully, we do. Want early access to articles at theepicstorm.com? Become a member of our Patreon to get articles 7 days early, on top of other sweet benefits, and help us pay our website team. You can sign up at patreon.com/theepicstorm. The final match. We're on the draw. I will keep. Let's party. Alright, so we're likely facing like Izzet Fairies. Sulfur Vent, pass the turn. They play an island. Augur of Bolas. Yep. Counter spell. That's not what I want to see. We'll play Vault of Whispers and Viscera Seer. Pass the turn. They play a land. They attack for 1. We'll take it. Not dead after all. We'll swing for 1. Pass the turn. They brainstorm. And then they cycle a Lorien Revealed. Land number 4. And they swing. I'll go to 18. And these are the matchups where you want more lands, but I haven't been able to draw them. Swing. I think we'll discard a Mulldrifter. I'm not really sure what else I'm supposed to do here. We'll take 1. Down to 17. And another Mulldrifter. Ay. This is embarrassing. Discard another Mulldrifter. They play Ponder. And cycles a Lorien Revealed. Our opponent's just keeping double counterspell open this entire game. So they might have like a Spellstutter Sprite or something else to pair with the counterspell that we know about. Okay. Swing. Go to cleanup. 5 mana for a hardcast Lorien Revealed. Is this my window? I mean, I think it has to be. So on the end step, we will Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the Viscera Seer. It gives them a counterspell target, but if they don't counterspell this, I need the resources anyway. And I know that they have to discard, but if they're tapped out, it gives me a real shot at winning. So if they counterspell this, it's secretly fine. Okay, so Dark Ritual is one of our best draws here. Vault of Whispers. So I could Cabal Ritual first. Like, I could sacrifice the Sulfur Vent. That gets me to 6 cards in the graveyard. If I Mulldrifter first, and then Feign Death, I've already made my land drop. I'd have to draw into exactly a Lotus Petal. And then Culling the Weak. Or I could Culling the Weak the Mulldrifter, but then I would have to draw into a Floating-Dream Zubera, and I have no blue mana. And I don't think that's like a winning line. So I think I just have to play a very sad Cabal Ritual here. We'll sacrifice the Sulfur Vent. Use the red. Cabal Ritual. 1 card short of Threshold. And now we will evoke Mulldrifter. We'll put the draw on the stack. Another Mulldrifter and Lotus Petal. So now we will Not Dead After All, and then Culling the Weak. So now we'll come back and we'll draw 2. We'll make 4 mana. Okay, so we'll play the Seer, play Lotus Petal. I think you're supposed to feign. This is really tough. So I could just Mulldrifter or Feign Death, but then I have no floating mana, which probably doesn't win. So we'll Feign Death on this Mulldrifter, and then sacrifice it. So it returns, we'll draw 2. Another Unearth, we'll scry 1. So I did not get the things I needed to win. We saw a third of our deck and never hit a Floating-Dream Zubera. That has also happened a few times this league. We have to pass. They gave me a really good window to win this, and I just couldn't hit it. They swing, we'll go to 14. Another Unearth. We'll try to attack. So an option I had was just like pass the turn with 2 3/3 Mulldrifters, but I was like, that plan is sort of like the coward's move, but also, like, what if they just have double Lightning Bolt in their hand? They haven't played any copies of Lightning Bolt yet, so I felt like I was better off trying to take the chance at winning. They play a Terror. We'll take 1. Dark Ritual. Swing. I will pass. No end-step Lightning Bolt or removal for the Viscera Seer. I think we're probably supposed to block here. Sacrifice. Keep the Floating-Dream Zubera. We'll attack. Let's play Floating-Dream Zubera. And let's try and unearth getting back a Viscera Seer. They counter spell. We will pass. Breath Weapon. So I guess if they're on double Lightning Bolt, I'm dead here. Because that's 6 damage. So I'd go to 6 and then double Lightning Bolt kills me. I mean, if you've got it, you've got it. You've seen, 45% of your deck or so. Cabal Ritual. I mean, the odds we win here are not very high, but I'll see what I can do. They bolt me, sure. Slow rolling double bolt? Yep, okay. Cool. We lose game 1. I mean, we had our shot, we just missed it. Poured out Lotus Petals and Culling the Weak. Try this out. On the play for game 2. No black mana, but I do think that this hand is a keep. Play Surprise and Scary, pass. They play an island. We'll play Sulfur Vent. Send it back. Brainstorm. Upkeep, they will cycle a Lorraine Revealed. They play a forward. So they've tapped out, but I doubt we're going to have the resources to win here. We'll play Scary. And let's play a Zubera. Pass the turn. Play number 3. Another Sulfur Vent. I am the beatdown. Rawr. Send it back. Ponder. They find land 4. We draw another Cabal Ritual. I think I'm just going to attack here and pass. Another copy of Ponder. Another tap land. So they have Counterspell plus up like Red Elemental Blaster or something. Heat Bog. Swing. They try to Scred. I will attempt a Not Dead After All. They Counterspell, so my Zubera will die and I'll draw a card. We draw another. Perfect. They play Terror. 5 cards in their hand. Not Dead After All. So I could try to win here. They've used 1 Counterspell. I'll play a Seer. Really? This is Counterspell worthy, huh? A little surprised by that. So should I try to win now? We'll tap the Surprise and Scary. What about Floating-Dream Zubera? That resolves. I can put these 2 cards to the graveyard. That would be 5 cards for Threshold. That's still a little bit short. Tap the Peat Bog. Let's try Cabal Ritual. Play a Seer. That resolved. Let's try Unearth on the other Floating-Dream Zubera. They're going to Scred Viscera Seer. I will respond. I will try to Cabal Ritual. Not Dead After All on the Floating-Dream Zubera. They have Dispel. Okay. We will sacrifice Floating-Dream Zubera in response. I'll draw 1 and scry. Pyroblast is not a good find. So we'll scry 1. Feign Death. Sure, we probably want that. I'll sacrifice the Seer to itself. Probably don't need to do that, but whatever. So I'll end up with a Zubera on the table. And we'll pass. They have 2 cards. We'll take 5 down to 15. Augur of Bolas. They find Ponder and a Tillarian Terror. Yeah. So they don't play the Ponder, which means that they likely have a 2-mana interactive spell in their hand. We are forced to pass here. So this attack will put me to 4, which I think I'm fine with. It doesn't put me dead to Lightning Bolt, so that's fine. They Brainstorm, and now they Ponder. Cycles Lorien Revealed for an island. They play the island. They have 2 cards in their hand. Dark Ritual. I am dead on board. So I guess the only way I win this is if for some reason they try to kill my Zubera in response. But I don't know what one card I would draw into that actually matters here. I guess I could Pyroblast my own Floating-Dream Zubera. So you're saying there's a chance. We'll destroy my own Floating-Dream Zubera. So I will now draw 1 card, which probably needs to be like Deadly Dispute or Mulldrifter or something. And we need our opponent to not have anything in their hand. It was in fact Deadly Dispute. Let's go. We will attempt a Deadly Dispute sacrificing Floating-Dream Zubera. Alright, we just need perfects here. They counterspell the Deadly Dispute. I still draw 2. And that is not good enough. I mean, I found the line. It just didn't work out. Our opponent drew triple counterspell that game. So we finished the league with the same record as the last video, which was 2-3. What do I think of the list? I think Mulldrifter was a huge improvement. I am not so sure about some of the other changes. I think I would go back to Shred Memory. I cut it because I wanted, like in my gold fishing, because I goldfished a lot trying to prepare this deck. I felt like Culling the Weak worked really, really well with Mulldrifter, and I wanted more of that effect. But it just didn't really work out. So, or well, I shouldn't say that. It did work sometimes. But there was also games where I couldn't find Floating-Dream Zubera, or I found it way too late. So I think you probably need some number of Shred Memory. And you could probably shove the second copy of Emberfist Zubera back in the sideboard, but it means that you struggle to beat main deck Nile Spellbombs and things like that. So that is one thought. I don't know if red was necessarily worth it. The fear or the logic behind red is that you get Ingot Chewer plus these, which is fine. Like, it's cute. But in order to do that, you have to sacrifice Sulfur Vent, so you're putting yourself down a card already. And then Pyroblast versus Fairies, because it deals with Spell Stutter Sprite, and it's really the only card out of combo decks that does. Like, Duress and Dispel don't. That said, the mana did not feel particularly great, and I had to go up a land in order to do that, and then I flooded a few times. So I think the next thing I would try is going back to Dimir and then playing Shred Memory again. I love the Mulldrifter improvement. I really do. I think I'm going to stick with that for a while, but I think now it's adding the Shred Memory package back in. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry that I did not win the final 3 rounds, but Magic has variance in it, and sometimes that happens, but what a league. Even the matches, well, I shouldn't say that. Matches 3 and 4 were nail biters. Like, those could have gone either way. I think match 5, we were probably getting crushed no matter what, but it was a decent league. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.